Eyes Open Network. Last year we brought you a story that we had hoped would open some people's eyes and get people thinking about the possibility. I was alarmed today when I read an article on Reuters, a very popular alternative media website, mainstream media, probably balances between the two. And I was shocked because this article seemed to be just so matter of fact that this is now happening, as opposed to it's already been happening for a long time. And why is this so shocking? Here's the headline. German spy agency says ISIS sending fighters disguised as refugees. What? This is a revelation. Thank you, Reuters, for doing this story. Thank you, German spy agency, for letting us know. What? This is no, how do you think they got into Paris in the first place? We get into this whole thing about people not wanting to support the crazy things that come out of Donald Trump's mouth, and I'm not taking a side per se in the federal elections. Presidential election is the word I'm looking for, sorry. The presidential elections in the U.S., I am just merely stating that when the words come out of Donald Trump's mouth, most people just immediately think he's crazy. Perhaps his choice of words and delivery method are not conducive to the getting the masses to understand his point. But his point is very simple. Until you understand how to properly screen a refugee, you can't let them in your country. We can't let them in Canada. We can't let them in the US. We can't let them into Europe. We can't let them anywhere. Yes, it's unfortunate that you are in a country that is completely decimated. You see the videos. They're flying drones over cities in Syria, and they're just rubble. I get it. I empathize with the fact that you want to get away. But what needs to be understood from the people who live in the free countries, the NATO countries of the world, is that you are putting your entire freedom at risk by simply allowing carte blanche refugees into your countries. For those of you who don't understand how that works, it's very simple. When you let in a lot of refugees, you also let in a lot of votes. It's a sad reality of the democracy that we live in. This Trojan Horse theory that we presented last year at the Eyes Open Network is nothing new, and I'm almost insulted that the Reuters would produce a story that would almost seem like this is news. There's a few little excerpts from the article. The terrorist attacks in Paris last November had shown the Islamic State was deliberately planting terrorists among the refugees flowing into Europe. Yeah, no kidding. So how do you do an article 4 months later that the spies have proved it? Come on. It's just distraction is all it is. Then we have repeatedly seen that terrorists have slipped in camouflage or disguised as refugees. This is a fact that the security agencies are facing. We also did a report on the fact that the Islamic State and the ISIS militants have the capacity to create passports. They have the passport machines. They have all the right stuff that from all the cities that they've overthrown. They've acquired passport making technology, so they can make passports from any country they want. The article closes with, in the middle of the article, it says we are trying to recognize and identify whether there are still more ISIS fighters or terrorists from Islamic State that have slipped in. You're still trying to determine and recognize. Of course they have. It's the simplest, the most simple way for them to travel without being identified, because the refugee, the allowing of the refugees into the free countries is just like an open door. I'm not on one side or the other when it comes to a political concept. I'm on the side of we must be diligent in knowing who exactly we are allowing into our countries. It's not a crazy concept. It's not a, well, we're just being racist, or we're being bigots, or we're being un-American. I've heard that phrase before. It's none of those things. The Trojan Horse theory is more than real. It's actually happening. But the difference is, it's not happening like depicted in this cartoon, where there's just one single item that moves into the enemy territory, and then at night when everybody's asleep, it pops open, and people come, and the ISIS militants pop out. No, this is even on a much grander scale. You need to get outside of your own head and think for a moment. Open your eyes. The Trojan Horse theory is something that everybody in every free country around the world must have on their mind when they're thinking about refugees. Do I feel for the refugees? Absolutely. I'm not heartless. However, we have to protect ourselves. This isn't news. This is old news. Old information. This is happening. It's been happening. It's been happening for a year. It's been an Eyes Open Network news.